Oh, good. Daily Disciple. Once again, not proving the existence of God or much of anything else in this 4 minute, 39-second video that will probably take me an hour to deconstruct. So he spends the first part of it reacting to Hank Green talking to somebody else and just remarking on how amazing the human body is and how amazing it is we exist. Which, yeah, I mean, those things are pretty amazing and pretty awesome. And using science, we can understand a lot of those things and how we got to where we are. And it's still amazing once you understand that. In fact, I'd say that once you understand that, it's even more amazing. Anyways, after sitting there basically just watching him and not really actually reacting, like he's just kind of sitting there looking at the video, then he finally gets around to talking. So that's where we're going to start. And that's at the 1 minute 10 mark. So I guess this video won't take me an hour, it'll take me 5 hours. Here we go.
Hank Green lines up on the whole Christianity versus atheism debate. But even just watching this video, it continues to blow my mind that some people think that all of this came about by random chance processes.
All right. Well, no, only you misrepresent it that way, and I guess you mean biological evolution, which is modification with descent in order to adapt to the environment that you find yourself in. And it's sad that you don't understand that, but it's clear that you think that this is what it is. Well, no, it's not just random chance by its own, and the processes aren't as random as you might think because there are many multiple filtering mechanisms on this, the primary one being death. There's plenty of ways to understand this. It's just you, I guess, don't want to understand it, or you do understand it, but your audience needs to be kept, dim so that they don't understand it. But okay, biological evolution. Starting from the very basics, you have chemicals that either will come together and be able to interact or they won't. So if they are able to interact, then they do. And if they can't, then they won't. And that's the end of that story. So the chemicals that can react together do, and that makes something new. And then that something new continues to do that process where it either interacts with something or it's unable to. And at some point, if you get the right chemicals in combination, you get a thing that uh, we would call living. And once it's alive, then things accelerate because it wants to keep living. Now, it might not even be aware that it wants to stay alive, but that's just the driving force of it. The thing that doesn't have that driving force won't stay alive, and the thing that does will. So it's easy to understand how life would be a driving force really quickly in such an environment. Okay, so once you've got a thing that's alive, now it's got competition because other things are alive, and so it has to compete for resources. At first, it was sunlight, then it was other creatures. You could eat those for nutrients, and so on and so forth. And eventually, over time, these things became more and more complex and also more specialized to survive in whatever environment they found themselves, or uh, they found different environments where there was less competition, so they moved to those environments to be the dominating force there. But then other creatures did the same, and plants also did this, and every living thing everywhere did this. And animals and plants affected each other's evolution and the environment as well. And thanks to the first animals, the first living things, we have air. And once air was a thing, that changed the entire world and also changed how life developed from then on. And well, now we have humans doing it, and we're changing the environment in ways that will certainly affect the next living organisms that come after us. That those things will have to adapt to this new environment that we're creating, and humans might not be able to adapt so readily to it. So that's a bad thing. But whatever, random chance. I don't understand it. I don't understand why people think it's true, because it is true, and there's ample data and scientific evidence for it. You just don't understand how people believe it, which is also incorrect. It's not that people believe it; we actually know it to be true, and it's not the straw man construct that you want it to be. Okay, back to the video.
Like, it was just like a really lucky day, like a really lucky like million years. Like, imagine if you like won the lottery every day for like a million years. That's how lucky it is. But like,
No, that's not how any of that works at all. That's not how it works. So, just that you're saying this just shows your overwhelming ignorance in this subject of science. If only you would, listen to Hank Green, who does science, speaking on science, but others do it as well. And there's plenty of documentaries and shows out there that explain biological evolution. I don't know. You could also just pick up a book or two on it and read it. You know, that's just an idea.
times that by like a billion. To me, when I look at the marvelous intricacy of our world, it testifies to the detail oriented creator that we have. You see,
Well, that's kind of silly. Just ridiculously silly. That's just you looking for a pattern and then finding it. So what organization are you talking about? Because what like a lot of organization is human effort. Okay, so you have to set that aside. Can't live on the North or South Pole very easily. You know, you can do it. It's just very very difficult. Uh, you can't live underwater as a human, not without mechanical, mechanisms. So there's plenty of I don't know what you would consider organized. What's so organized about having fault lines and volcanoes and desert? I mean, just what the bleep do you mean? This is look at the trees. This is all this is. It's you want to find a pattern, so you found it. Okay.
the similarly constructed pattern sequences all throughout creation, and it testifies to me the signature of the sculptor. Proverbs 19:1 says that
I don't care what Proverbs said. This is more just presuppositionalism on your part. Plenty of other scriptures say things about their gods and, oh, nature is wonderful, therefore God, whatever. All right, anyways.
demonstrate that God exists. Well, not enough evidence, my dear boy.
Actually, no evidence, not even a little. Um, you don't have evidence. I'm sorry. It's just you don't. And by evidence, well, I shouldn't have to clarify it, but I always seem to have to. It's empirical, it's repeatable. That's it. Now, I'll take a moment of distraction to comment on a comment that I got saying, oh, you can't test your life in that way. I'm like, oh, no, actually, you can, because we know biology, we know psychology, and these are all testable things. Yeah. And that person was like, they didn't say anything after that because yeah, there was nothing left to say. All right, anyways, please proceed with your silly construct straw man.
That's exactly the response I would expect because it's not about the evidence. We don't need more evidence.
Well, you need any evidence. You don't have any evidence at all. You need evidence. Period. It's not that we need more. We just need evidence, and you don't have it. So it's not there. But what's it really about? Please tell us the secret motives. Oh, this is going to be painful. Okay.
That's not our primary problem. Romans 1 points out our problem. The fact
I don't care what Romans 1 says or any of the Bible. You'd have to prove that the Bible is true, which you haven't done. So,
that we know God exists, but we
no, we don't know that God exists. And there are people that have no concept of God that exists. There's people that believe in different gods that are wildly different than your version of God. And you're not reading this in context because Romans isn't even talking to us today, but you don't know that because you're a false prophet. Please continue, anyways.
We simply suppress that truth in our unrighteousness.
And that's ridiculous. So you don't know, see, you know that it's true, but you don't know that it's true. So how is it that it's unfalsifiable? So you don't believe in Laud, the lobster original deity, because you're just an evil, spiteful person, and you actually know that it exists. You're actually wrong. You know that you're wrong, but you hide that from yourself. It's completely unfalsifiable and completely ridiculous. Also, Romans isn't speaking to us today. It was speaking to people who already believed in God, so it doesn't apply to us. But again, you would only know that if you read the full verse, and why are you going to do that?
You see, our primary problem isn't that we don't have enough evidence to believe in God. It's that we placed ourselves as judge over God, and
Now, there's no God to judge, but what you might mean is the character portrayed in your fantasy writings that you believe are true, called the Bible. That character that's named God, certainly I judge that character because it makes claims about the character, but the story doesn't show the character behaving in ways that align with what it says about the character. If you remove the character from the story and you tell about a person who somehow floods an entire region, killing everybody but a small group of people, you wouldn't view that person as a good person. It's like, oh, I saved that one family. Yeah, but you killed all these other things. That's pretty messed up. That's a genocidal maniac that you're referring to. So you remove it from the context and you instantly see how terrible of a character it is. Anyways.
that our sin has blinded us to reality. You guys
And yeah, it's just a side note, but I thought this was about Hank Green proving God. When did he do that? Like, you said, like, you didn't understand how people think it's random chance. Okay, that doesn't prove God. You just don't understand that. And then how is it that Hank was proving, like, when did Hank accidentally prove God? You didn't explain how Hank proved God. You didn't do it. Like you could have been like, oh, see, he proved God by talking about how there's not hair growing inside of us. Like, there you go. That's proof of God. I don't know, whatever.
know that song Amazing Grace, right? I once was blind, but
Yeah, I don't care about that song either.
now I see. Sin blinds us. In Psalm it says the Lord
Well, didn't Jesus die for sins? So why would it still blind people if Jesus died for sins? Wouldn't they be gone now? But yet sin is still around. So, like, how could sin blind you since Jesus died for sins? That means Jesus didn't actually die for whatever. It doesn't make any sense. I don't care about this psalm. All right, whatever.
darkness. Does this mean that we shouldn't use apologetics and only preach the gospel?
I don't care what you use. It's not going to work anyways. Apologetics is just sad. It's a sad state that apologists have. They've basically given up on apologetics and they've resorted to basically preaching the Bible at this point, which is all you're doing, really. You've said, like, what, 3 different verses from the Bible, and not once have you even attempted to do apologetics in this video. So yeah, whatever.
No, I love apologetics. I'm passionate about apologetics, and I think it's important for every Christian to know how to defend their faith. But
And I think it's important for every Christian and non Christian to know that you don't need faith, not even a little, and you should disregard faith as quickly and instantly as you can. There's no reason to have faith if you have facts. You don't need faith. The fact that you have to struggle to maintain faith is an indication that you probably don't need it. And once you give it up, You get to see reality for how it really is and how it really works. Let's look at some of the comments here and cry about them. Um, this one, this one's like, I've always said that people refuse the existence of God because they don't want to be accountable. Period. Because that's how you end a conversation. Just say period. And that's why. And then I said that's why Daniel Ackes doesn't believe in law because he doesn't want to be accountable to it. Period. See, great comeback, right? And anyways, this person blows my mind. They used to think we randomly showed up by chance. It's because you don't understand evolution, I guess. Before I got saved, now I think back and wonder how I could ever have just a thought. I was blind, but now I see. God put his mark on everything. Great video as always. You're just completely useless. Let's see. Let's see. Their content helped this guy get through high school chemistry. Wow, the Hank Green and his brother helped this guy get through high school chemistry. Wow. Why didn't you read the books? I don't know. Just whatever. It always made me so sad. They're both atheistic and very left leaning politically. It's just short of the most important truth there is. What? That there's a God? How do you know that they're atheistic? I don't care what they are politically. I mean, it doesn't matter. It's hard to debate creation with people because you're assuming that there's a thing called creation. I wonder what differences we could make, but it's just showing them Jesus. There's no Jesus to show me, so whatever. I feel like people deserve an intelligent conversation. Well, you can't do that because you don't understand logic or science, so it's kind of hard to do that. I do admire people like C.S. Lewis. You shouldn't because he didn't know anything. I actually used to debate with a atheist. I know, I'm sorry. Wow. Why would you be like? Why are you sorry? Because you couldn't win the debate. I've concluded they're more comfortable believing in all the elements in the verse just popped into existence from nothing. No atheist actually believes that, so I don't believe that you actually debated any atheists. I think you're just making all this up now. Then believing in divine creator. Greatest minds of all atheists still cannot pinpoint the source of all creation. That assumes there's a creator. And it's not atheism isn't doing it. It would be like what? Science that would be doing it, if anything. So this is just ridiculous. But they'd rather believe in that or anything before they stoop to believing in God. No, I just need evidence, and there's no evidence of God. So whatever. You can debate the very, very beginning point of everything. Well, you can't because you don't know what the beginning point of everything is. No one does. But it still doesn't really seem to matter if the hearts aren't in the right place. Well, your heart is in the right place of believing in Laud, the lobster original deity. It works just as well. Maybe you just don't want to understand science and reality and how it really works, and that non-understanding helps you to believe in God and your version of God that can't exist because it goes against science. Great, good job. Anyways, back to the video. Enough of that.
But when too much of our attention is focused on formulating the perfect argument or coming up with that one piece of evidence that's going to convince them,
Well, there's no argument that you have that's perfect. Otherwise, I would promote it. Every argument that every apologist that I've heard or read has one or more logical fallacies, either formal or informal or both. They're either not valid and sound, or they're not sound, or they're none of the above, or whatever. They're all screwed up. But you guys and gals that do apologists don't care. You keep doing the same arguments anyways, no matter how many times we point out how wrong they are. You don't want to listen to it. You don't want to have it be corrected because you've intertwined that argument with your deity, and you're like, oh, the deity is real, and so the argument can't possibly be failed, but it is failed. I don't know about the deity being real, but the argument sucks. Get a different argument. You have it. Evidence, you don't have any. Period. End of story there. There you go. See, I said period too, but you don't have any evidence. And I already said what I meant about evidence, so yeah, whatever. He doesn't have it. Yeah, going on. By the way, how is this Hank proving anything again? Oh, okay.
we're missing the point. The heart of their problem is the problem of their heart. It is deceitfully
That's completely incoherent.
wicked above all else. Who can understand it? Rome
Why would your heart be wicked and deceitful above all else? That seems like a bad idea. Why would the heart be like that? Who's responsible for that? Not me. Uh-oh. Must be God then. So it's God's fault that we're this way. Brilliant. What an idiotic God that is. Anyways, keep going. By the way, you still haven't told me how Hank proved anything here.
Romans says, "For all have
I,
sinned
I
and fallen short
I
of the
don't
glory
care.
of
Okay,
God."
so you're just preaching again. Just preaching. That's all you're doing. Just reading from the Bible. Who cares?
Us a way to escape the shackles of sin,
Uh-huh.
pride,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
self
whatever.
worship. God has the power to transform you from the
Self worship. I don't think you should worship yourself. I don't think you should worship anything really. I don't even, I don't know what worship is necessarily. Like, I just think you shouldn't do that. But yeah, be proud of your accomplishments certainly, but don't think too highly of yourself because somebody knows more than you and somebody does more than you and somebody's stronger than you are, and that's just how it is. Somebody's more handsome or beautiful than you, and that's okay because you're doing good doing whatever it is you do, and if you're not doing good, then you try to do better, and if you can't, then find something that you're good at and do that, and do that one thing really, really well. Eh. Anyways, whatever. I don't worship myself, so this doesn't apply to me. But I guess he believes that I do that because I don't believe in God. Whatever. Keep going.
inside out to make you into a new creation from a sinner to a saint.
No such thing as sin and no such thing as saints. Also, you only become a saint when you die and after a miracle has been attributed to you, so that's kind of weird, but whatever.
No evidence could do that. Only
Yeah, well, that's great because you have no evidence.
him. This was the game
So only him. So only God could do the thing. All right. So then what you're doing is a waste of time.
changer for me. Simply believing that there is a God won't save you. Believing that the world was created by intelligent design won't save you. Believing in Jesus and him alone is the only thing that will save you.
According to the thing that you think is true. So basically, if you subscribe to the belief that I have that only the lobster original deity can save you, then that's it. That's the only thing that will save you because it says right there that that's the only thing that can. It's just so.
If I could summarize the main idea of this video into one sentence, it would be this: apologetics is a pit stop, it's not a destination. The
I could summarize this video in a different way. You didn't show how Hank Green proved God accidentally or in any way, shape, or form. So that's something you didn't do.
last thing that we want is to get lost in the weeds and having the same debates over and over again.
But yet here you are still doing the same thing that you've already done. Basically, just preaching the Bible. So there's nothing new there. Saying that you don't understand science, in this case, biological evolution, if not directly, then indirectly by saying, it's random. I don't understand how it could be all random. So that's the same. There's nothing new there. You didn't show how Hank accidentally proved God, so you lied about what the video is actually about. Nothing new there. So yeah, you haven't done anything new yet.
Neglecting what this whole thing is about, who we're trying to get people to see, who we're trying to.
Yeah, well, if there's a who and you're trying to get me to see it, then just show me that thing. Just show me the person. It shouldn't be that hard. But the person that you're trying to show me isn't around to show. That person died a long, long time ago. And they're dead. And that's it. That's the end of the story. If there was a Jesus guy, he dead. And he's still dead. And he ain't coming back. That's it. He gone.
To point people to that, it should be clothing our mission in everything that we do and
Yeah.
directing our steps. I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts about apologetics and God's existence and the
Wow. Yeah. Well, it's funny. At no point did you explain how Hank proved God. Not even a little. Ha ha ha. Wow. Anyway, post. All right. Oh, that was it. Yeah, we're done. We're done with that. Oh, look, it only was 25 minutes. Said it'd be an hour. I was wrong, I guess. That's okay. I can be wrong. Thanks for watching. Post a comment. Tell me how Hank Green didn't accidentally prove anything in the thing. I don't know. Whatever. It's all just because we don't want to believe. Look for the new Lobsterist. Yeah, the original Lobsterist. Yeah, that's still out. It's still available to read. There's gonna be a new one that says all the things that I keep saying that it says. I don't know when it's gonna be out, but it will be out one day. Bye.